Air Marshal Dikshit, the Vice Chief of Air Staff, DG CAPS, Air Marshal Nagesh Kapoor, former chiefs, officers, friends from the media, industry, DRDO, I see defense attaches here, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here in this beautiful auditorium. So far, I have actually visited this particular place attending weddings ahead, and it was a more of an informal sort of a thing. But this is the first time I'm entering this auditorium, and thank you very much to the DG to have invited me, and thank you very much for being in OGs to support my cause too. Actually, a lot has already been said in the opening address and by the Deputy Chief of Air Staff. The importance of this particular seminar. The side that sees first, and it's an age-old adage, the side that observes, orients, decides, and thereafter acts is the one that wins. And this is most applicable now, as is evident in the various conflicts that are going on, and I'll touch upon them a little later. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the battlefield is actually changing in a way which was never anticipated. When we got commissioned sometime in the 80s, 1988, right up to, I would say, 2020, the pace of change was rather gradual. In the last 6 years, we have seen profound changes, and as the previous speaker said, if we do not keep pace with these changes, we'll be left behind. The ongoing conflicts are giving us an enormous opportunity to learn, to find out as to what exactly is happening. And as I have stated many times before, this is the laboratory we must learn from and pick up what we need to do in a very, very quick time frame. One profound change that is taking place is the democratization of airspace, and all of us need to be absolutely aware about this. Unlike the past, where it was actually the mighty few, things like absolutely developed countries who could deliver precision weapon because they had absolute control of the air. That time has actually passed. It is the cheap drones, it is satellite imagery which is available easily, it is the networking which is important, it is the digital communication, the precise fire, they can alter the battlefield. So we need to be absolutely cognizant about it. At the same time, electronic warfare, cyber attacks, and destruction of communication infrastructure has rapidly degraded the sophisticated military system in case the resilience is lacking. So this also needs to be borne in mind. The power of network and cloud-based situational awareness, command and control, battlefield management system like Delta, and I'll talk about it a little later, has unambiguously demonstrated information superiority has become operational superiority. So let me break down today's topic because I see that there are sessions for each of the topics that has been listed out. So I'll very briefly talk about each one of them. Firstly, about surveillance. Surveillance is often misunderstood as merely connecting imageries or detecting movement. Here, I would like to just recap for you the method Chinese use to collect intelligence. So they call it the 1,000 sand technique. That means minor pieces of evidence, once joined together, give you the bigger picture. So the person, the individual sand perhaps does not know, but when combined together, that gives you the picture. That, in essence, is what surveillance needs to do. So modern surveillance integrates multiple layers. Space-based assets, airborne assets, which of course the Air Force provides a lot of them, the UAVs, the ground-based sensors, acoustics, signal intelligence, human intelligence, open source intelligence, and maritime surveillance system. No individual, as I said before, no individual device is going to give you a comprehensive picture. The future belongs to sensor fusion, where diverse sources of information combine to create a dynamic, accurate, and continuously upgradable operational picture. And we as services and all of us sitting in this room, all stakeholders need to work so that we progress in that direction. The object is not to collect more data. The objective is to reduce uncertainty. Let me briefly touch about the C4ISR. Of course, command, control, communication, computer, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, they constitute the nervous system of modern military. Some think tanks have sort of termed it now as JADC2, Combined All Arms Domain Command and Control, which includes AI, edge computing, all domain integration, cloud, and mesh networks. In earlier conflicts, commanders often fought with incomplete information. Today, it is just the opposite. We risk drowning in information. Thousands of sensors generate enormous amount of data every minute. Unless analyzed intelligently, filtered effectively, and presented meaningfully, more information may actually produce slower results which would be counterproductive. Information overload thus needs to be avoided or needs to be prevented at all cost. And towards that, artificial intelligence, machine learning, therefore, becomes indispensable. They are not to replace the commanders, but to assist them by identifying patterns, highlighting anomalies, predicting likely enemy action, and prioritizing information. The future commanders will not simply command troops, he or she will command information. The next topic, electro-optics, and as was brought out, electro-optics technology has evolved dramatically over the few years. Thermal imagers, infrared sensors, shortwave integration system, laser rangefinders, laser designators, hyperspectral imaging, multispectral fusion, high-definition imaging, each represents a significant advancement. Collectively, they are able to ensure that the military forces detect, identify, and engage targets under conditions where human eye would not be effective. They are an integral part, indeed, of infantry weapons, armor fighting vehicles, artillery observation posts, helicopters, fighter aircrafts, naval platforms, border management system, and unmanned systems. Future electro-optic system will increasingly employ AI to automate, classify targets, detect abnormal activities, and reduce operational workload. This is not merely an improvement in technology, it is an improvement in decision-making. Now, very briefly, let me touch upon the most profound change that has taken place since 2020, Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, that is the drone revolution. Perhaps no other transformation has caused the type of changes that we are seeing today. It is, as I said before, democratization of airspace and greater employment of drones. When I was a young brigade major during Operation Vijay, getting to know and we were deployed in 25 Infantry Division sector, Rajouri sector, getting to know just across the ridge was a Herculean task. You had to use all sorts of methods, including infiltrating some sources, etc., to find out even the basic information. Times have changed now. Even a company commander can now have a type of awareness that perhaps the division commander did not have a few decades ago. So this is the most important change, and we have to be absolutely aware about it. And drones are able to provide us reconnaissance, target acquisition, battle damage assessment, electronic warfare, communication relays, precise strike, and logistic support. This particular domain has to be effectively utilized by all stakeholders. The challenge is not about flying drones. The challenge is managing these thousands of airborne sensors simultaneously, for which we have to break silos and talk to each other. There was, both the speakers before mentioned about the electromagnetic spectrum. I will just leave it at that and say that electromagnetic resilience is an important lesson that has come about during Sindoor, during all the conflicts. So we need to be absolutely cognizant about it and ensure that all our systems are electromagnetic resilient. Space, of course, is the ultimate high ground which provides us a 24/7, and that is a place where we would get a persistent surveillance. So we need to be cognizant about it and lay greater emphasis on accumulating that data to provide meaningful inputs. So what is the India's path forward? We face high altitude terrain, dense urban centers, extensive coastlines, island territories, and complex maritime interests. Our surveillance architecture must therefore remain adaptable across diverse operational scenarios. The most important thing is perhaps indigenization. Strategic autonomy requires indigenous sensors, electro-optic payload, processor, software, communication systems, and secure supply chains. Second, integration. Platforms should not function independently. It's time now we all act together. Every sensor should contribute to a common operational picture. Every commander should operate from the same trusted information. Need of the hour is open architecture where control remains with the armed forces. An indigenous solution akin to Visa, Avenger, and Delta used by the Ukrainian forces as an effective kill chain is perhaps required. And finally, third issue that I would like to flag is human capital. Technology does not replace leadership. The finest sensor remains ineffective without trained personnel capable of interpreting information, exercising judgment, and making timely decisions. Ultimately, people, is the person, remains the decisive factor, unless, of course, the AI overtakes us absolutely. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, as we move towards an era of multi-domain operations, our collective responsibility is clear: to build an integrated, resilient, secure, and indigenous capability that will provide our armed forces with enduring operational advantage. The partnership between the Troika or the services, DRDO, academia, startups, MSMEs, and industry will be a cornerstone of that effect. And it was very nicely articulated by the Deputy Chief before me. And I'm confident that the deliberations during this conference will generate ideas, partnership, and innovations that will strengthen our national security and contribute to future capability development. And I'm also very confident that we'll break silos, understand each other's point of view, and come up with some constructive recommendations. I wish this conference all the success. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.